Update, my 28M wife, 30F, kicked me out after finding my secret Reddit account. My pregnant wife kicked me out accusing me of cheating on her and getting my co-worker pregnant after she found my secret Reddit account, even though there were obvious differences in the post as well as when the post was made. I that night drove for 1 hour to my in-laws. My family is not close. When I showed up they wouldn't let me in until I started crying, I know not manly, and explained that I am worried for my wife's mental state and child's safety and asked if they would please hear me out. They finally let me in. I put everything on the table. They did not hear the full story and my wife. She said that I cheated and then got in her face blaming everything on them. None of it was true. I showed them the post that she suspected was made by me. Then pointed out the obvious differences. I next pulled up footage from one of our outside cameras that caught some of the argument. Caught audio only, they could tell I was not the aggressor and she was not acting like her normal self. While in the camera app, I noticed a car was parked across the street. One I recognized. That I should have never seen again. Up to this point, I realized that I also messed up. My wife is off some of her medications and switched to different ones for the pregnancy. I have spent more time at work lately due to trying to save up more money for our future. This means I have been neglecting my wife. I now know why my wife was acting this way. My wife had a friend/co-worker that never approved of the relationship between my wife and me. We will call her Satan. She kept trying to get between us by causing fights or bringing up false red flags of mine. When she confessed her love for my wife and said she wanted me out of the picture. When she told my wife this, she told me and decided to cut contact and move to a different department. I told my in-laws that we have to go to my wife. My in-laws contacted my wife and told her that they were coming over. She accepted it. She was crying and still very emotional. My in-laws told me to give them a few minutes to talk to her first. When we pulled up it was about 8 or 9 at night. From my in-laws, when they walked in my wife was crying to Satan who was happy we fought. They knew about what that woman tried to do in the past and told her to give them a few minutes alone. She agreed after some arguing. They had her talk about her side again and gave the evidence from my point of view. It turns out that Satan was taking advantage of the fact that my wife is pregnant, I'm working more hours, my wife is on different medications, and the info from our past painted me in a bad way. She also had been showing me other evidence, like somehow she had a picture of me and my female pregnant co-worker when we went out to get food for the team. My wife accepted this and kicked Satan out and blocked her again. We are going to try to get a restraining order placed on her. Things are better but not back to the way we were. I got her a doctor's appointment on Tuesday about her medicine and scheduled an emergency therapy session with her therapist on Wednesday. For now, I'm sleeping in the guest room and trying my best to not break up our 8+ year marriage. I feel betrayed that she would take someone's side who has already proven they will do anything to get what they want. Lie about her being no contact, then accuse me of cheating and not listening to what I have to say. But at the same time, I love my wife. I know that she was not in her proper state of mind. I want to get marriage counseling, but the wait list is over 2 months long. I will tell my boss on Monday about cutting back on hours to help my wife. I have saved up time off which should help. Luckily our company provides 3 months of paternity leave. Hopefully, we can get things right. My in-laws have also been staying close just in case my wife needs them or if they have to step in. ETA, I have told my actual pregnant co-worker what happened. She and her husband are understanding of the situation. They said that they would be willing to sit down with us and talk. I believe she is due in the coming month, so she won't be at work for a while. Update-ish. Thanks for all the love and support. I did move back into the main bedroom. We were able to get into marriage counseling and they have helped. I was able to express how I was feeling and get my issues out in the open to my wife. My wife, since the big blow up, has been put on different combinations of meds and we think we found a combo that works so far. We do not plan on having her breastfeed, so she will be able to switch back soon after. I also want to address some comments I had seen. We did not intend to get pregnant. There was a month when my wife couldn't get her normal birth control. Her doctor wanted her to try a different one. Well, when she went off the first song she became very horny. We didn't think about protection on several occasions. A month later we found out she was pregnant. There was no slow getting off her meds, it was quick, and she was thrown different meds. I hope they worked for her. Most did, but others did not. Satan, Santa, Sarah, or Susan, whichever you read first, does have a restraining order against her. Also, she lost her job. Had to move with her parents hundreds of miles away. My wife and baby are healthy. I'm starting a new job in 2 months. My boss was able to help me out. It comes with a nice signing bonus. I do it remotely until I'm ready to go in person. My in-laws are amazing people. They have been very helpful. They also know, unlike most in-laws, how to respect boundaries. My parents are coming out with my sister closer to the due date to help as well. Move on to the comment. What kind evil does it take to deliberately and with forged evidence, try to break up a marriage? I hope everything works out. She's probably in love with her and delusion that they can be together. She was stalking him and taking pictures. Really disturbing. What kind of stupid does it take to let someone who has actively tried this shit before back into your life to do it again and still not question anything till you're so has to literally drag your parents into it? Whatever meds she's on must be royally fucking up her mind or something, cause damn, this is some next level lack in judgment. I suspect it's less that her current meds are royally fucking up her mind than that the pregnancy safe equivalents are a lot less effective for her than are her usual non-pregnancy meds that royally unfuck her mind. Get on that wait list for marriage counseling. I know there's a wait, but when it comes around, it will help regardless. I am glad your wife is getting the help she needs, and all you can do is be supportive and follow through on the things you are saying you will do. We will call her Satan took me out. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Hopefully, your wife gets the help she needs, and things get better. Get Satan out of your lives because she will come back. I think you're doing the right thing keeping her parents close at hand at the moment. Also glad you've got emergency appointments set up. I'm sure that you'll be able to get your wife and you the support you need. You used the correct nickname for this horrible woman, by the way. Glad you're trying to get a restraining order. I know you are hurting. I think it's a time where being understanding will serve you well. Your wife is off her usual meds, whatever they are for, and she's pregnant, which honestly can make a healthy woman think horrible, intrusive, irrational things. That mix, I'm sure, means your wife has been acting like this unintentionally. Good luck. We are trying, but I never realized how hard it is to actually get one filed. I don't know it is just my local police, but the process is hard. It's going to depend on what your local statute for stalking/harassment is. Make sure you have a record of telling her to stop contacting you, be it through email, text, voice recording, or any other means. After that, record any further attempts at communication and/or proof of stalking. Then contact law enforcement for a stalking/harassment report. Even if they won't give you a stalking report, explain the situation and ask for a miscellaneous report documenting the situation. Once you have that report, go to your local courthouse and file for a protection order. It's important that this is done on the part of both you and your wife. If you go through all those steps, but your wife continues to communicate with her, it's all for nothing. This is how it works in my city. Your results may vary in your local jurisdiction. I wonder if Satan was the one who wrote the post. Hi, I am happy to read the update. Trust will take time to work on, actions are important, and cutting off this evil person will be a massive step, though since they work in the same company I would be concerned about what she might do there. Just something to consider to protect your wife from any backlash at work. I am happy to read that her parents listened to you and helped you. I hope they would, and they stepped up, clearly good people. This has been a huge situation which is going to take some time to work through. I am sure counseling will help, but you will also be dealing with a baby soon, which means things like this can get pushed aside. I have hope that you will work through this together. Best wishes. Get on the wait list for counseling. Sometimes a list could move faster than you think, and either way 2 months isn't that long. Ask if they have a list for cancellations so you could get called if someone cancels their appointment. Either way, if you're going to want to stay married, the two you will absolutely need counseling to work through this. I just want to tell you I'm glad you have this mindset. A lot of people only think about how they've been wronged in situations like this, but you seem aware that your wife was wronged as well. She was off her usual meds, and I know how much that can mess with people, and had all the stresses and hormonal issues that come with pregnancy, and then a complete fucking psychopath came to her with carefully doctored information to try and manipulate her, and in your wife's confused state, it worked. I'm not saying you can't be a little mad at your wife for believing this so easily, especially given the source. You just have to keep your wife's current situation in mind for context, and it sounds like you're doing an admirable job of that. I think marriage counseling is a good idea, and the wait list isn't necessarily a problem, since it's unlikely this can be meaningfully addressed until the pregnancy is over and your wife is back on her normal medications. For now, I say trust your instincts. I think the best thing you can do is shelve this issue for the moment, try not to be too resentful, and help your wife through the pregnancy. That seems to be your plan too. Once she's back on her feet and thinking clearly again, then it's time for some hard conversations, but for now the best thing you can be is a good partner. It helps all three of you. You, her, and the baby. Good luck and keep us posted. When someone isn't in their right state mentally and emotionally, they can write their own narrative quite easily. Having someone else, in this case Satan, prey on her vulnerability makes her especially susceptible. And on top of all of that, she is pregnant. You are kind, strong, and understanding to do what you can to help and support your wife. It's reasonable you feel betrayed, but this definitely doesn't sound like typical circumstances. You sound like a great husband. I wish you, your wife and the baby the very best. Realize that Satan is probably the one who found that Reddit post and showed it to your wife to start this whole thing. Who stumbles across posts from a year ago unless they are actively seeking them out? I could definitely see Satan coming to your wife and being, hey, I know we're not talking, but I saw this Reddit post and I became concerned. I think your husband is cheating on you. In order to drive a wedge between you two and try to get with your wife. Especially since she had that photo of you two, really seems to point to her being the culprit here. Be very careful for your wife. Isn't there a story somewhere on BORU about a similar situation? A friend of the wife just straight up gaslighted her about the husband, saying that he was not working overtime, he was cheating on her. The wife in question had mental issues, I believe, so she totally lost it. She even left their young child home alone or something. Long story short, in the end she killed herself. That friend even had the gall to demand she be allowed to the funeral and let her have her speech. Definitely keep that Satan woman away from your wife and get her the help she needs. Surround yourselves with the right people. I am feeling all kinds of empathy for you right now. My husband and I picked up a Satan at one point. It was a nightmare. We had never had a single argument until she somehow managed to wedge her way into our family. It took about a year for us, and my family, to all get clear on what was actually happening. And then another 6 months to make a getaway. The only answer was to get out of her reach. We moved, put the kids in different schools, changed baseball parks, and yes, jobs. I don't think we could have made it through without that extra layer of support from my family. Hubs and I were in counseling for years after rebuilding our trust. Even though neither of us ever